Alright, hello people, it's Ash and I'm back making videos again. Usually the Wednesday slot is taken up by Hollyoaks. Today it will not be taken up by Hollyoaks. I watched the episodes and wasn't really too keen. So instead, I'm gonna do the old classic, El fucking Classico. I'm gonna do a Reddit thread, but in my own little way, and we're gonna talk about a topic that I find fairly interesting. And especially with the EastEnders following, that being we will have a new executive producer in 4 months, as of the ending of the anniversary week, I think it's a good time to take a look at how Coronation Street is handling. Because Coronation Street's been in a bit of an odd place for a long period of time. I feel like they've had a run of a couple of really rotten years that have generally made the show. For me, it was top 1 until the last year or so, where it immediately dwindled back down, and it was just fed up. I was just simply fed up of Coronation Street after a dodgy 2022 as well. I do genuinely believe that Coronation Street is probably my third least. It's my third favourite. It's my first least favourite soap on at the minute of the ones that I watch. And they announced that Kate Brooks would be taking over as executive producer, which is a good sign. Kate Oates was an EastEnders producer. Kate Brooks is, she's began her role in April 2024, but obviously it takes a bit of a shift all in all. Obviously at the time she did the Mina Jutler storyline, which, let's be honest, that fucking made everybody absolutely adore Emmerdale at that time. Mina Jutler storyline kind of is bigger than Emmerdale. The return of Mandy Dingle, Maya abusing Jacob, Lisa and Zach's remarriage, Lisa's death, introduction of Ryan, Laurel and the Lydia Dingle sexual assault, and the Marlon Stroke storyline, Faith's death, and generally Chaz's cancer storyline. So, with that being said, there's a lot of good work that she's put in at Emmerdale. And I think it was a natural time to stop, because I believe it's Ian McLeod who was the Coronation Street boss, and he, for some reason, has been promoted upwards, where he took the role in 2018. He would mastermind. I'm pretty sure he'd master the Yasmin and Jeff storyline. So he did a decent chunk of stuff as a whole, obviously. But yeah, so let's now dive into the Reddit thread. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we are. New Corrie boss is here. What would you like to see change? The former Emmerdale producer Kate Brooks is now the new producer of Coronation Street. If you could get her to change any storylines or the direction that Corrie is going in, what would you tell her? Now, that question as a whole for me... Now, that question as a whole for me is something I would kind of discuss. I think Coronation Street got into a constant cycle of doing these... Not necessarily this... Corrie would get into this cycle of doing these long-running storylines. But I want Coronation Street to be good now. I want Coronation Street to be good now. Stop announcing long-term shit. Let it be good now. Introduce characters with a bit more direction. Stop having people vanish for months on end. Stop. And it's not just a thing that Coronation Street does, but one thing that I've definitely really been annoyed about in Coronation Street is they build up a relationship. They build it up. They build it up. And then they just split up for drama. For needless drama that doesn't need to happen. They split up and it's like, for fuck's sake. So, and then they'll do nothing. They will do nothing for months. And then eventually they'll get back together. And then it's like, why the fuck did we waste this time? Happened with Asher and Nina. happened with Ryan and Daisy, happened with Joel and Dee Dee. There's so many couples that it's like, oh, they're together. Yeah. All right, done that. Fucking wash our hands of that fucking thing. Let's just dump it, you know? And it's kind of absurd. One comment I will see that I don't think I care so much for is I'm not looking forward to the people saying, because it always happens where people say, you know, Corrie's not like it used to be, used to have greats, and now it no longer has any of them. I don't want us to go back to the stage of Coronation Street where we're arguing about the price of bread. Like, I wouldn't hate for there to be a more working class focus, because a lot of people on this show are quite affluent and have kind of raised out of that position. But also, I don't need Coronation Street to act as the working man's soap. It still is. It's a soap. All soaps are working people's soap. Kind of, you know, as most people describe it, it's low quality, long running serial. It's exactly what you kind of want. But I don't need that. I really don't. I don't fucking care. I don't need you to be this down-to-earth working-class soap. We no longer need a show to portray these sorts of things, as it's portrayed in every other bit of media. Some of the shit you can't get away from. So, I don't necessarily think that it's... You know, I'm just preparing myself for that inevitable possibility, and I'm not looking forward to it. So yeah, let's see what people think. She needs to go back to the Brian Park era, controversial, or he took the show back to being more working class. Corrie needs to be relatable to the audience. Let me just double check who the fuck Brian Park is. I'm not that great in Coronation Street history. I've watched everything since 2020, 2019, 2018, and then 2000, and I think 2001. He was there from March 1997 to 1998. He axed a bunch of characters. It was changed the show. They brought back the Battersbys. They brought in Haley. And also masterminded the Free Our Deirdre storyline. So he almost definitely did a pretty good job of rekindling the show. Worried Murder and Illness, remembering who is watching and why soaps are popular in the first place. Murder and Illness has its place, but not every week, and having so many cops on the show is taking both feet out of reality. I don't think so. Like, there are only, 3 cops? You have Kit, you have Vicky Myers, Lisa Swain, and you have Craig. Bring back the family drama, the longer poignant scenes, and quirky northern characters and humour. And remember the soap matriarchs. By the way, older people still exist, the ones that actually look old, and people still play bingo in 2024. Please also cut down the number of business owners and give people normal jobs. Gosh, even people who empty bins still exist. It didn't just happen in the 80s. The show is still watchable, but it has lost its northern soul. It was unique amongst other soaps, which made it special. Let's see. Notice how everyone above a certain age is treated like they're always confused, don't know how to use technology, the writing is so bad. I really hate they made Audrey a joke when the woman has her own business and is the only one in her family that truly has her stuff together. Cast girl a la Brian Park 97, there are far too many characters now. Fewer issue-based storylines than those that actually feature that actually explore the issue interestingly and meaningfully instead of doing the bare minimum for raising awareness sake. Yeah, fair enough. I can't say there's been too much of the, as far as I can tell, the social issue, but yeah, some of the social issue stuff are more of the disliked storylines. I can't lie. More humorous and or everyday material that features independently of plot characters not featuring a storyline, something to do, and provide relief from the dramatic. Furthermore, this will really help us care for the characters when the stakes are high because we'll see them more than pawns for the plot. Focus on strong writing and acting instead of relying on incongruently filmic devices and sequences. I will say, I think a lot of the characters have lost a lot of their identity everyone's been turned into Gail Platt, which does sound a bit outlandish, but let me explain a bit more. Obviously, Gail doesn't really do too much. She kind of sits around, reacts to the family around her, and then just does, fucking hell, I'm old me. Fucking hell, do that. Blimey, what's a Twitter, David? You know, she just does that. A lot. And she does that a lot. And that's gonna happen to a lot of the characters. Yasmin pretty much plays that role. Just a lot of the characters are just there to be there and don't really have a direction. And that's like the exit. The exit of Gale is really shaping up to be absolutely unremarkable. And I'm still so mortified that they're just letting her go. The storyline didn't work out. They couldn't keep Martin Platt, so they just went, yeah, let's just have this other guy in. Who is he? Yeah, he was with Eileen in 2009 or something like that. Like, fuck off. It's criminal. It's criminal that she's because she's still going. So this is gonna be a legacy. Obviously, she might come back eventually, and they kind of like redo it again. But like, man, alive, it's absurd that they're still going ahead of it. Because her exit's gonna be shit. Because it's not what they planned it to be, so they had to rush and still do it anyway. It's like, criminal. And you know that the show's in a pretty bad place when one of your long-running characters decides to leave. Like in EastEnders, where Ian Beale left. Doctors, where they killed off the guy who was there for, like, it was either, I think it was like 27, 37 years roughly. I think he's called Charlie something. Like, you know it's bad when they decide to just leave. Other people already saying this, and I definitely would reiterate: stop introducing new characters. Maybe they get rid of a few, no, they die or anything, and actually start utilizing the characters we've already got. The shows are oversaturated right now. You don't care about half the storylines because they largely focus on characters I've been given no reason to care about. I agree. I do agree with this point. Like, a lot of the characters I don't care about. Like, the Joel stuff's interesting. I care about Dee Dee. I care about Joel. Do I like Lauren? No, not really. Like, no, I don't care. I have no reason to like Lauren. She is just okay. How they strung up Roy for this. Like, a lot of the characters I do enjoy have been gradually faded out and taken out of the spotlight. Like, one thing that was holding me together was I really enjoyed the Daisy and Ryan relationship, but now we're just going back to Daisy and Daniel because they want it to be like fucking Ken and Deirdre. It's not though. It's really not, and it's making the show suffer because of, like, I don't need to see fucking Gemma and Paul. Well, obviously Paul's dead. Sorry, I don't need to see Gemma and Bernie at all. I fucking actively really dislike those characters to such an extent. And yeah, sure, I appreciate that they have to be there because you want to have the poorer family, but they get so much screen time. And I will accept, obviously we did have the Paul dying storyline, but I actively really dislike Gemma and Bernie. I dislike Billy, like, and that was one of the main storylines this year. And yeah, sure, that's probably a me problem, but also it doesn't make it more watchable. Like, obviously, the Paul M&D stuff was fantastic. It was really good stuff. Like, they acted fantastically. But I do not fucking... Gemma and Bernie need a fucking break. Also, sick of the police and police station. If you enjoy crime dramas and police procedurals, you'd watch them. You don't, so I'd watch Coronation Street. You want to see normal people living normal lives with stuff sprinkled in. Yes, there's been a lot of drama, but there's also been a lot of crime. A good no-drama wedding and celebration would be good. A couple love each other, get engaged, no issues, save up, no issues, and get married, no issues. Seriously, when did this last happen? And while we're all at it, less cheating once they, whoever they might be, are married. I think... Yeah, but you don't get this so often. Like, I don't... People always complain about cheating, but I really don't think it's as big of an issue people, like, talk about. I think people over-dramatize the amount of cheating that goes on. because it's not that big a thing. It is still a fairly frequent thing in soaps, sure. But ultimately, you need to establish characters who love each other and actually want to be with each other without drama happening, which drama is the main thing that leads the fucking show. And if it doesn't lead the show, you're going to find them boring. And, like, you don't want a boring fucking storyline, because ultimately people are going to be like, why the fuck's this on the show? It's shit. Like, yes, cheating is a bit of a thing in soaps and it's a bit of a constant. But also, you would complain if it was just really boring. Like, you just be like, oh, this is shit. Why the fuck are they showing this? So you don't want them to do much of the same, and you don't want it to be different. So it's ultimately a very hard battle to sprawl, because like, you're kind of stuck. Stop having so many issue-based storylines going at the same time, especially when there's a lot of focus on one. Then it quietens before quickly ramping up again. And just include general goings-on and that happen in the day-to-day in the streets. And, go back to characters interacting with each other makes sense, as opposed to pretending each other doesn't exist. For example, we've barely seen Fizz and Chesney interact and their siblings. Same with Maria and Kirk. I would have thought F and C had more interactions with Roy, as I swear he was their foster parents. Or something along those lines. And then they go to add, forget to add, if there is an issue-based storyline, don't dramatize it for the sake of the show. Some of these are really real issues that many people are going / have been through. They've had the stories respected, not dramatized, and hoping that it wins some awards. It's a show. It's a show. It's supposed to dramatize it for awards. And by dramatizing it for awards, you're aiming to tell the most accurate and honest portrayal of the story possible. I don't know. Go back to the kitchen table, character-driven drama. Stop with the endless bed-hopping and affairs, once again with the affairs. And please just have one example of a married, monogamous couple wanting a child, not having a child from an affair. I don't care if that couple is gay and adopt, just make them monogamous. Stay monogamous, want a child, and have a child without a fucking affair. I still don't think it's that bad of a thing. I will say, they have broken up a lot of the more traditional couples. But, like I said, I don't think affairs are that fucking rampant and ridiculous. I like the direction of Kate Brooks took back in 2018, and some storylines dovetail one another, like how Aiden's suicide sort of convinced David finally telling someone about his rape and subsequent mental health struggles. Kate continued to do stuff like this, I'd be happy, also for the retcons to make sense too, especially if they happen in the time frame the characters are on the show. Looking at you, Toya's baby retcon, even though Georgia Taylor and Ben Price acted those scenes so well. Yeah, no, fair enough. It was, like I said, I watched that 2018 period. I do like that period of time. It is, pretty well placed. I've got no problems with it, so. Yeah. I'm not against... I'm against retcons if they don't make sense. Like when in EastEnders they went, Rocky is Dottie's father, instead of Nick. Went, no. Tired. But yeah. Stop centering stories around random new characters. Lauren, Bobby, Stu, Mason, Betsy, Lisa, etc. Introducing new characters is great, should be done regularly, but the balanced focus should be 85% people that have been around and 50% that totally new. Yeah, it's a strange piece, because Lauren is, I think they want Lauren to be a bigger character than she is. They want her to be Tina. They want her to be I was going to say Millie Gibson. They want her to be what the fuck was she called in the show? They want her to be Kelly. But she's not, and she's not that level, and I don't think she will be at that level. But she has been a pretty big focus of the show for the last year and a half. Bobby's fine, but yeah, fair enough. They did just kind of ham-fist him into everything for a while. Mason, I think he's garbage personally. I don't like the character, and I don't understand why they think he's great. Betsy, Betsy's fine. I like Lisa as well. Lisa can stay. Fine with Lisa. She's kind of, obviously she was a regular before, so yeah. Stop with the police investigation stories. I mean, there will be less crime thriller, let's be honest. The second, like, Joel's stuff is figured out, they will tend to step away from the crime. I mean, it's like the thing, EastEnders made a transition period where the current boss, Chris Glenshaw, figured out, maybe we don't just do crime all the fucking time. Maybe we should actually just, I don't know, focus on the family stories, and it's made the show better for it. Get rid of the police. Give Mary, Brian, Evelyn, and Roy main stories. I don't want to see Mary or Brian at all. I don't want to see Mary ever again in my life. I'm tired of Mary 100% of the time. It's like the Kim Fox effect, where before this last period, it was just, all right, Mary, go say some weird shit now. Yep, sound cheers, Mary, good job. No, terrible. Fuck Brian. Brian's shit. Brian shouldn't even be on the show, in my opinion. And he's just cheeks. He's not good. Evelyn and Roy, sure, fine by me. But all those kids back to the background, get back to being the funny, working class, and quarrelsome so people can identify. I mean, I don't necessarily. I think the teenage actors are kind of overhated to such an extent. Like, people always complain about the teenage actors, and I think it obviously comes from a place of slightly older people not wanting to fucking see a teenager be a prick, because we were all teenagers and pricks at the time. But like, I think people just comically overhate them just because they are young and they are supposed to be a bit cringy because they are teenagers. Like, I think people overrate. I think people kind of, yeah, I just don't like them. I like the teenage characters. I got no problem with them. I dislike the people who glorify. Like, no one wants to see Mary and Brian. Come on. No one. No. Corey is really easy to fix. It just needs to slow down and stop bouncing from plot point to the next. They need to mix up work dynamics and focus on household units. For example, throw Leanne in as the new manager of the Rovers to keep an eye on Jenny and Daisy. She comes in with big ideas like karaoke nights and extends her food menu and see how the team reacts. I honestly, can Leanne just fuck off for a while, please? Please, just asking nicely. Can Leanne just fuck off? I'd have Amy, Summer, and Asher move in together, and we'll see how they get on with modern young adult life. Reunite Sarah and Adam, have Steve move out and pop them in with Ken. How does this young family rub alongside this old gent who is set in his ways? Just normal human dynamics. Let's see these characters living life again. And I loved someone else's idea about a normal young couple getting on with life. I reunite Alia and Ryan and see them get engaged, buy a house, get married, fall pregnant, etc. I mean, I don't hate it, but isn't it supposed to be the Fizz and Tyrone kind of story, in a way? Like, obviously they had all the drama around it, but isn't this kind of what they're doing? But yeah, I don't hate it. Also need Gemma, Mary, Mason, and Craig gone, as they're four of the worst actors to grace the street. I want Gemma gone. I wouldn't care if Mary left. Mason is very mediocre. And Craig, look. This may sound outlandish, but I think ever since Craig lost the weight, he's been a shitter actor. Like, him during his OCD stuff with the Bethany storyline, fantastic. Craig during that time period, fantastic. Since he lost the weight, he's not been a good actor at all. And that may be really, like, harsh of a statement to say, but I 100% believe it. Also, wouldn't mind a new family, freshen up dynamics, unconnected, and would make a impact. Yeah, but we did that with the Baileys, and people don't really like the Baileys at all. I like the Baileys. I think they're a sound family, but Less gruesome murders, more comedy. More Evelyn, more Mary. More Evelyn with Mary. No. Don't have much hope for you, seeming as you were in such poor error for Emmerdale, but to be fair, better than Ian, though. Cast Girl, more realistically grounded storylines, old characters who connect to old characters, returns, make the street have community again. Emmerdale's not exciting either, and ping pong between the producers between Corrie and Emmerdale don't help. Kate Brooks really wants to get Corrie back on track, then maybe she'd get writers who are experienced in writing and have a love for Corrie, but we know the character, where they are from, and where they could go without being contradictious or completely bonkers. Get rid of Harvey and Damon and this new villain for starters. Give established characters a substantial story. Put more time, blood and sweat into rehearsals, and bring back the love for the series back in the hearts of the actors. That is all what I wish for the moment. That's a bit of a weird take. I don't think the actors are phoning it in. And I don't think the writers are terrible. I think what gets greenlit is a problem. But that usually comes through the executive producer, personally. Like, alright, let's just see. Alright, let's just do one more. Let's do one or two more, and then I will see it. Number 1, change the schedule times for Corrie. Get Corrie to return back to 5 consecutive episodes a week like it used to in the days. I feel like 3 eps a week is enough. As viewers, we love to get more of a daily dose of Corrie drama. I mean, it's still 3 hours of the show. Like, there's still an hour each. Stop introducing new characters or casting new characters unless necessary. Try and utilize characters that we have currently got in the cast and get them involved in storylines we have not seen them take center stage in. Give other characters a chance to take center stage so they can win the hearts of the viewers at home. Okay, I wonder if they're gonna say, and get rid of the shit characters. Stop focusing on too many dark storylines and try to adopt the wit and humour that Corrie is famously known for. It'll help the OG Corrie viewers tune in again, as well as attracting new viewers too. Maybe this could help boost up viewing figures. I feel like it's time to start focusing on less dark storylines. Explore the storylines that we have never seen showcased on TV before. Quite hard to do. Try to bring iconic characters from the past or from the dead so that Corrie can go back to its original roots. Bring in new writers, either from rival soaps or experienced writers that can write episodes based on modern day Corrie. I don't think the writers are that bad, guys. You sort the human dynamics. You want to see ordinary people living their everyday life. You want to see people having fun. You want to see people characters form friendships. Perhaps even new romance could be on the cards. I think introducing a new family to the Cobbles would even help shake up things at Corrie. Introduce more Platts to the Platt family, or introduce new Barlows to the street. Like the audience will love some juicy family drama. This will help satisfy viewers at home and it will help them love Corrie more than usual. It will keep them hooked. Bring in more experienced storyliners. This can help Corrie take home more awards. I mean, it would help if they actually had a good show that they were putting out regularly, in my opinion. I think that would help them win more awards. Cast Cull may be possible. Get rid of characters who don't get screen time. I would have a reshuffle, yeah. I would kind of bargain down a lot of the families. I think the Platts have been completely missing for the last year or so, for the last couple of years. They really have taken more of a background aspect. It's like how David's funny in his own right, but when he doesn't have actual, like, proper storylines, he's just kind of a sarky twat. You know? Like, you need that extra little edge to actually make him a worthwhile character to have. Because, yeah, sure, he's funny. Like, Gail, fucking... How's that then? Fucking head on this one. Don't know what that is. But, like, you know, Sarah, she has had a lot. Shona's not really done anything since her brain injury. Like, the Platts have been quite missing. Audrey's have barely seen about. Let's just kind of scroll down and see if there's any more. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff of let's get rid of writers, let's cast, cut, let's do all of that. Stop Tyrone lying to Fizz. Get rid of Lauren, Bobby, Betsy, Yasmin. Get rid of Max too. Only if the McLeods are truly gone will the show be 3. What the fuck? Send Scott... Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I suppose, and just to wrap this one round fully and give it an outro, I don't think, like, as much as I've been kind of slating Corrie for a whole, I do generally want it to be better. I'm not one of those people who have decided it's terrible and I'm just going to spend the next 3 years shitting on it. I do like the show. I do love the show. It was my favourite soap for a long period of time. And I don't know, I want it to regain that status because I want it to be genuine competition for EastEnders. And, you know, the ideas are interesting. Change the writers, change the fucking actors, cold cut, focus on more old school Corrie stuff. Like, you can't just mimic old school Corrie because then people just complain that you're just retreading old shit. And you might alienate some of the viewers that may have never watched classic Coronation Street. They may not like the more spit and sawdust fucking drab approach of the show. So I think they are trying to set up what they believe are the classic pairings. They think Daisy and Daniels, Deirdre and Ken. They think Tyrone and Fizz. They think that's got to be Jack and Vera. They are setting them in these sort of molds. But like, I think they have a problem where they think that the characters are more liked than they are. I do genuinely believe that they think Lauren she's the next best thing for Kelly. It's the next best thing for Tina, but she's not. And I don't think she's even remotely as popular. I think they've made a lot of characters. They've made every older character Gail. They just say some stupid shit and progress the storyline. I think a lot of the actors are being given the same garbage. How many times will Craig's actor be told to say some stupid shit and have people look baffled at him before they actually decide to make anything interesting happen there? I don't know. There are some problems, but I am hopeful with the new producers, and I do imagine we will be seeing a lot of the cast be killed off, and I do think that, you know, they have some interesting stories, but I do generally think that this will happen fairly soon enough, and we'll get to see how Coronation Street will look in Kate Brooks' image. But I've heard a lot of good stuff about her time on Emmerdale, and I've heard a lot of good stuff in general. So, fingers crossed, this does save the show. And that's probably going to be the clickbait title. But yeah, there we are. Hope everybody enjoyed this video. I know I don't talk about Coronation Street very often on this channel, mostly just because it's kind of at the bottom of my list currently, especially in comparison to Hollyoaks. But I will say it was formerly my favourite soap, and if it was like publicly available a lot more, I probably would go back and watch more old Coronation Street, as I kind of just do that with Hollyoaks. But yeah, there we are. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the slightly late upload, but all in all, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to join me in the next one. See you then. Bye-bye.